You are watching Lesson 9 for continuing students with the dance of the eye and the hand. Today we will continue with the 8 relationships of Chinese painting theory.
Good to see you again. We're going to continue with the 8 relationships today and work on the next 2, which are open and close and dark and light. And again, following this, I will show some examples of some paintings for you to look at and see if you can find how those concepts are used in composing the paintings that I'll show. So open and close is if I close this corner of the painting and leave this corner open, that closing will make this space seem much bigger. So I watch, where do I open, where do I close a piece, and what does that do to the rest of the composition? If I'm painting a falls, I might put 2 large blocks of ink, and that opens that path for the water. So you can use and you can change the dynamic and energy of a composition by where do you block something and where do you let it flow. Dark and light, similarly, are the use of the ink and the use of the space. So I may paint a dark area, but that then defines the light area. So I not only have to pay attention to where am I painting, but I have to pay attention to where I'm not painting. And in some cases, actually in most cases, it's more important to pay attention to where that paint is not, because that is where the energy is. And this is really a structure to create that energy. So let's look at some examples and see if you can see how both open and close and dark and light are functioning in a composition.
So once again, we have 4 examples from Li Yangshan. And looking at this particular one with boat on water, some rocks, a pine tree, some distant shore, some foreground rocks, where do you find elements that close the composition and ones that open the composition? Where has the artist used darkness or ink to define the composition? Where has that been used in a lighter way? Again, looking at this horizontal piece with buildings, trees, wall, some distance, mountains and shoreline and boats, where can you find areas where the artist is using dark and using light? How does that contrast get created? Where is he using elements to close an area, or the lack of elements to make it open or more spacious? How does the fact that the 2 corners, opposite corners of the painting are closed, change the other 2 corners? Here again, in a more complex composition, where are the concepts of open and closed being used? In major ways and less major ways. Where is the artist using dark? Where is he using light to create contrast? And lastly, in a simple painting of Narcissus, how has the artist used those concepts of dark and light, of open and close? How are those used to create a strong painting, even though there's very little brushwork and a very simple composition? How does that dynamic get set up?
So here we are back. We have our 4 pairs from the last 2 times. We'll add 2 more today for open and close and dark and light. We'll start with open, which has this gate structure starting with a down to left, then horizontal connects to vertical, horizontal, horizontal. Then right side, vertical connects to horizontal, center horizontal, top horizontal connects to vertical, and this comes straight down. The left side had a little bit of a curve. This comes straight down, but still think of that left side as a straight line. Under that, we put a pair of horizontals and then a pair of verticals. And that gives us open like a gate or a door. Then close, and close is a pretty simple character, which means we need to do it with a lot of strong energy. A simple down to left, then a down to right wave, and this needs a lot of pressure, some good length and lift. Because it's surrounded by very complicated characters, these simple strokes need to be done slowly and with good energy pouring into them. Good pressing, nice and slow, good connections. So we have open and close. Then we'll add dark and light. And dark starts with a water radical with the 3 dots, paying attention to the difference in each dot in its angle, its width, its length, its weight. Starting at the top, build a sort of horizontal box, divide that in half and close it, and then we come through it with a pair of vertical dots. And under that, we start with this down to left, then 1 horizontal, 2 and 3 horizontals, and then this vertical, down to left, and a down to right. That is dark. Light starts with, again, water radical, and then has a pair of fire radicals. So we start with those 2 dots for that first one, thread that down to left through, and then down to right. Another pair of dots, thread that down to left through, and this down to right can be a nice wave. So dark and light. And that's our pair for today. Let's give that a try.
Before you go, one last note. The handouts for the Dance of the Eye and the Hand for beginning students and continuing students, all lessons, are posted as downloadable PDFs at www.laughingwatersstudio.com. Have a good day. You have been watching Distance Learning from Laughing Waters Studio.